It's so wonderful to see everybody online, to see everybody here in person. Welcome. Just as a reminder to you, you're always welcome here for these meetings. We have snacks. I even rated the pop cupboard or the soda cupboard. So there's stuff over there if you're interested in that too, for those of you in the room. But we would love to have you in person if that works out for your schedule. I love offering this as a hybrid so that those of you who are working in district, if that works best for you, that is what works best for me then also. So I'm just happy that you're here. Just another reminder, portions of this meeting are going to be recorded. I chop that down and then I put it up onto our website, which we'll talk about too. Just know that you always have final cut. So if you do say something and you want, that part is being recorded and you want that cut, I added all these after the fact. So just let me know and we will absolutely cut those out. So no worries, no pressure. But like I said, I just want to have that captured in case anybody needs to refer to something after the fact. All right. For our meeting here today, we had already talked about attendance, so I'm going to blast by that. Just know that that's available in the chat for you as well. A couple different things for our meeting, welcome and reminders. Just, some of you, this might be your first meeting for the year, so just wanted to redirect to a couple of different places we have set up. Second thing we'll talk about today, just some district sharing. So you have come to this meeting for a reason. So if you have questions that you want to ask the group or share some problems of practice, would love to hear some of those, get that conversation flowing. Want to talk a little bit about vendor content. So, the companies that we are working with, some of the resources that they have shared with us. And then lastly, show and tell section. So welcome everybody. Just as a reminder, you see his face here in the room today. Jay and Nikki Howard had previously run this group and they're amazing. My name is Matthew Mays. For any of those of you who this may be your first meeting, really happy to be with you. I'm a technology consultant at the ESC and I'm trying my best to learn all of the new ins and outs of all of the platforms. So really, really glad to be with you here today. Is there anyone on the call maybe new in their district or, first time this year, want to say hello, unmute, anything fun like that? That's okay too, no worries. Anybody here in the room want to say hey?
Hi, everyone.
Perfect. That's it for me. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi. All right, so as a reminder, we talked a little bit about this at our first meeting, but we now have a website for our DADS group. On this website, I have help guides for everything. We have meeting archives, which I mentioned there a moment ago, and also some helpful links for you. So this website is for you, and I will curate it to have whatever on there that you would like. You can see the link on that slide. That's just bit.ly/startesc dads, all lowercase. That will get you here to our website. Across the top, you'll see those same things that I just described. So that meeting archive, that's going to have our most recent slide deck. So you'll see today's slides are up there and waiting for you. And then also that recording that I told you I go in and edit after the fact, that is waiting for you as well. So that's the recording from our previous meeting there in September. And then if you were interested, the meeting archive is in there also from way back in 2017. That's as far back as I could find for our notes. So those are all included in there as well in case you wanted to mine those areas for resources. As far as resource guides go, this is a page that I put together based on the products and the companies that we typically work with. So if there are others that you would like added, let me know and I can add those here to this group as well. But you'll find those help guides, you'll find those product updates. And then if they have like a YouTube link or YouTube channel, then I wanted to link that to just make that easier for you as well. And then something new for this year, I'll actually jump to our next slide to kind of introduce this section, is the vendor series. So I thought that during our, quote unquote off month, so when we don't have a formalized, DADS meeting, I would invite one of our vendors in or new vendor or prospective vendor in to just chat about their product or answer any of your questions that you may have. But this is an opportunity to speak directly with those managers, with those regional reps. That way we know that we are getting the service that we deserve with all of these companies as well. So if you're interested in that, I will let you know who those people are in the weeks leading up, just like we did this last time. A new one, a new company, or new to us rather, is who I invited in last time. So this is Schools PLP. If you want to check out their resources, I was kind of taking notes on the side as Jeff Martin was talking. And I also have a link to his slide deck there as well. And then I captured that meeting too. So if you wanted to check out the video, that video is waiting for you here. So like I said, just a good way for us to all connect to, to those companies, to our reps, and really just build up those relationships with them. That way, especially when it comes time for pricing, we know that we can, kind of leverage them to give us the best deal. Okay, so look for those. If you have suggestions, or if you have like, hey, I really want to see this person, or I really want to see this company, let me know, and I'll reach out and we can get them in here, so that way, we can make those as meaningful for all of you as possible. Okay. All right, so let's move into our district share time. I'm going to minimize my screen here just so that way we can type in. You all came here for a reason. Does anyone have any questions, anything that they want to share at this time? So this could be, problems of practice. This could be just, hey, we wanted to share this thing that we're doing, or I need help with this. I'll go ahead and stop talking. That way you all can jump in and speak freely.
Where's the spreadsheet that you had maybe a meeting or two ago?
Yep.
To just update our roster?
Yep, so that is on slide 5. So that's here at the bottom. I'll pop it up into the chat then too for you.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. We'll get that over here into the chat. Thank you for that reminder too. So what just went into the chat there is a spreadsheet. If this is your first meeting for the year, go ahead and update that. That just tells me basically what you're working on, or what products you're working with, and your contact information if I ever needed to reach out. I'm also going to use that to kind of pare our group down a little bit, because I know that we have some districts that we haven't seen in several years. So I'm not sure that we're actually going to get their return, but that way we're just talking amongst us. Hey, any other questions? Any other problems of practice? If you're on the call, feel free to unmute. All right, if they do come up, if you do have questions, please bring them up. Obviously, this is your meeting, and I would love to hear from you rather than you have to hear from me. So please, by all means, feel free to jump in to spark those conversations. I do have a couple things for you. We're not going to take the time to actually read through these articles. I just thought they were thought-provoking and might provide some resources for you here in the next couple weeks. From Edmentum, they shared a whole bunch of different resources. So that's that top left area. These are what they consider to be their October classroom resources, but there's all kinds of good stuff, from all kinds of stuff from, bullying prevention and National Fire and all kinds of, Red Ribbon Week, all kinds of stuff. So just some fun games that they had made available. There's an article there at the bottom called Conspiracy Theory Kryptonite, which I thought was really fun. This is from Common Sense Education. I'm an ambassador for Common Sense Education. I think they do really, really great stuff. So this isn't just necessarily a website that, is pushing, internet safety and whatnot. But if you've never been there before, they even offer things like, family movie reviews. So your kids are talking about the new Hocus Pocus 2 movie. Is that something that your 5-year-old should actually be watching? They have all kinds of really good things on there too. So not only are they trying to help guide in education, but they're also trying to, make that partnership over to home. So the idea here is, this is just an article that's basically talking about how our kids are being manipulated with these conspiracy theories and how do they, have such power over people, especially as we look to election season. I'm sure this is going to, or at least conspiracy theories and fake news and all that other stuff are just going to intensify over the next couple weeks. So I thought this was a really great article. It has some really great resources in it that you could share with friends back in your district. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you is a paper that, again, this came from Edmentum, but I think is really, really wonderful. So if you wanted to click on that, it's a little bit longer, but I do think that the kind of premise and the themes behind it are really, really excellent. So, in that first meeting, we talked a little bit about how, my vision, my personal vision for technology is not more, right? Like we actually have to focus on people. We have to focus on those conversations. And so I think this gets to that. And that's a big reason why I wanted to share it. So key themes, it's all about the people, not about the technology. That is obviously more important for our group than ever. Our kids are constantly online, they're learning online, but how can we redirect them back into the real world and those real conversations as we, think about the things that are online. Good instruction is good instruction, no matter what the modality might be. So there's a whole bunch of information about that. And then lastly, a culture focused on the success of all students is a non-negotiable. So I thought that was a really interesting way to frame it. As you make your way through the article, there are some other really fun takeaways. So this was just kind of a comparison piece. Obviously, we know things have changed drastically in the last few years, but it's still, shocking to see when it's played out through data. So the percentage of educators who say that their schools offer devices to students at a 1-to-1 ratio that, almost doubled in elementary schools and gained by 25% in secondary schools, which is awesome. So, with that comes a lot of responsibility. It's not just, like I said, it's not just more, but rather, are we using this effectively and are we using, the best products and the best strategies that we can with our kids. So they really boil it down at the end to that putting it all together section. I thought this was a really nice way to have conversations back with your district leaders. So these are all just questions that you should be talking about, that you could talk about. Makes it very simple to have those conversations with building administrators, with district administrators, with parents, with families. You can see that there are even questions to ask those families. The article goes into, equitable access at home too. So, like I said, it's just a really nice way that all of those different topics are boiled down into one article that I think is worthwhile, not just for us and for our group, but for everyone back in your district. All right. So just a bit of light reading for you. All right. Wanted to also bring to your attention a grant opportunity. So this one here is focused on STEM education research. As you kind of boil down into it, I know this slide is super wordy, but as you boil down into it, you can see that there is some pretty serious money involved. And I think it's something that is definitely attainable for you and for our districts. We're talking, a lot of our, digital learners, like that's the basis of this whole grant. So if this is something that interests you, there's a due date on it of February 24th. So definitely make sure that you're kind of getting your ducks in a row so that you could take advantage of this as well. All right, time for some vendor updates. Just one more time to put it in front of you. These are all of our reps for the various products that I know to be in our region. If you haven't done so already, there's a sheet that's linked up to the top here that says, please update this sheet. So please go in there and update based on what you are currently offering. To this group of 7 reps, I emailed last week and I said, hey, what do you got that's new? What can you share with me? Or what would you like to share with our group? I heard back from 2. The first was Jeff Martin from Schools PLP, and he's like, I don't know what to do with this. And I said, don't worry, you just came in last month. I have everything we need for you. And then the other one was Lori Perzak, who has been a wonderful rep, super communicative. So for those of you who are using Edmentum, especially that courseware area, I don't like to spend a lot of time on this because everybody's doing a little something different, but she did pass along 2 different flyers. The first one is on some new instructional services that are being offered through Edmentum. So this is that first flyer there. Feel free to read through that. And then the second one here is on a product that they have called Exact Path that they've been developing and are putting out. This is basically just like a diagnostic to figure out where kids are. Another product that is, a part of their arsenal of different applications and whatnot too. So if that interests you, there's more information there. And then she also wanted to pass along that a bulk import and export of progress is coming later this month. So look for that to roll around November 18th. And should you have any questions about those, feel free to reach out to Lori. Her email is on the previous slide here too. So for those of you who are using Edmentum courseware, then that would definitely be a spot to check out. As we continue, FlexPoint has a couple new courses, so feel free to take a look at those. For Buzz users, there's some updates that are rolling through there. But like this is the same as what's linked on our website. So, some of these we've seen before. This was updated on October 13th. So, like I said, this is just rolling through. Most of it is on like passwords and stuff like that. So nothing real crazy coming. I think they have like a dark theme, which like hooray, but that actually does nothing for us content wise. So just know that those things are happening in the background. And then we already highlighted some of those updates from Edmentum, but there are some new courses and some new features that are available there too. So by clicking that link. Okay. Any questions, or does anybody have anything that they need from any of our vendors along the way? This is awfully quiet today. That's okay. It happens. No worries. Has anyone noticed any product updates since the last time that we last spoke, or things that I have missed that you would like to discuss?
It may not be a huge thing, but Ingenuity is now Imagine Ingenuity, and they kind of redid the way kids log in. It looks a little bit different, but other than that, it's a little bit different login with Imagine Ingenuity.
All right, thank you, Karen. That's as if it wasn't challenging enough for me to learn all of these products. Now they're going to go and change the name again, so to make it even more confusing.
Sorry, yes.
It happens,
Yeah.
And I mean, as sad as it is, like, I don't know when it's going to stop. Like, it just seems like everybody's kind of cannibalizing everybody else, which makes it difficult for all of us who, you've selected these products for a reason because you like them, you like the way they look, you like what they have to offer. And that isn't always guaranteed when they get cannibalized by somebody else or when they purchase somebody else. And now all of a sudden we have these Frankenstein products as they're all, kind of meshed in. But yeah, be on the lookout for that one. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate you.
I will say with Imagine Learning, the Clever integration is really sharp. I don't know if you guys use it or are integrating through Clever, but it makes it really nice. Now staff can just go in and just add courses to their kids as opposed to adding their kids. And if you have a Clever page, it just makes it easy for kids to get to everything. So just give you guys a heads up on that if you haven't looked into it. Their integration team was really easy to work with.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Nick. I popped that into the chat too. So that would kind of capture that. I'll slide that over into our notes too.
So yeah, we have Clever, but I didn't realize with that.
So even if you already have it, they actually ran a merge because that happened to me as well. We didn't start the Clever until after. So we already had years of staff entering kids and making up usernames or passwords. once I put them in Clever, then I was able to kind of wipe everything that they actually had or combine it if we at least have the same email address.
Okay,
So that part helps.
and then the kids can just log in through Clever.
It's all through Clever, it's really,
Thanks.
really easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
It's such a sharp product too,
Yeah,
Clever.
it is really good.
Any other product updates, any questions? Specific to vendors? All right. It's time for show and tell. You've all been so talkative thus far. There are a few things I have popped up in here. First of all, just check out the GEG Ohio home base. This is Eric Kurtz, who works here at Spark. This is their home base online, so you can get to all of their events, all the recordings from monthly meetings. A lot of really interesting things coming from Google. And one of the really clever things that Eric and his team have done with their notes, they have started to put little icons next to those updates. So you can see like, oh, if our district has just like the, Google Workspace Basic, like this is what it looks like. If we have the teaching and learning upgrade, this is specific to those users. So it makes it really, really easy to find updates based on whatever product level you might be at, for Google use in your district. I mentioned a little bit ago about, how I've really been thinking a lot about conversations lately. And that middle link, the 22 strategies for learning through conversation, these are really, really well thought out, just wonderful to use learning strategies that involve conversation. So trying to get our kids to speak more and to type less. And then I also brought with me a couple books for those of you who are in the room. The first one is by Sherry Turkle. So it's called Reclaiming the Conversation. It's the power of conversation through digital age. So I'll have that up here if you're interested in checking that out. It's really, really wonderful. She's a really good Twitter follow as well. That's Sherry Turkle. And then this last one here is from ISTE. They actually sent this out. It's called True Connections. So this is a book about basically like social media and like actual student accounts of how they are navigating social media in this digital world, which is really interesting. And they are basically like almost like journal entries from these kids, which is really, really fun. So if you want to check that out, I'll have both of the books up there. That one they actually sent out for free. So I don't know if that's still available. That was like last spring, I think, when I got that one. So you're welcome to borrow it if you're here in the room or whatnot too, but definitely one to check out. So it's True Connections and Reclaiming Conversation, I think go really well with this resource. So basically it's a play-by-play, tells you everything you need to know to pull off these different strategies as well. And then the last thing I have for you, and then I hope I can gather some of your resources here for this meeting. It's from Dr. Jordan Cotton, and this is basically just like just a giant rainbow. Think like your science periodic table of elements. This is a really nice, really well orchestrated list of different online tasks that you might be trying to do, color coded to just basically every product that this person could find that would fit those. So what I will say, this is me talking, not every one of these is a home run, but it's a really good place to start. If somebody says, well, I want to build a new website. Well, where could you go for that? There's a bunch of resources. Or I need new games, or I want to talk about digital literacy, like where are all those things? So really nice idea, really well laid out. Like I said, it's a little something for everybody in here, and would definitely make just a great share out for teachers or for the rest of your staff. All right. Anybody bring anything fun with them to the meeting that they want to share, or the resources that might be new to you? Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
I can speak on one. I don't know if it's directly all the way connected to this, but in Plain Local this year, we started up Securely Classroom, which is a Chromebook, basically a Chromebook monitoring tool. So we already had Securely as our main, internet search history, that sort of thing. As an additional add-on, they have Securely Classroom, which if you're the teacher, basically you're able to open up sign into the device and start a class, and like all 25 kids in your room, you can see a little thumbnail of everything that they have on it. You can freeze them, you can stop them, you can put an announcement on everybody that says test tomorrow, and they have to engage and say, okay. This is something for us. I forget what it was an extra $1 per kid or $1.25, something like that, added on to what our normal like price was. As a whole, we're running that right now, 5 through 12. It's really popular amongst the teachers, probably for a couple, maybe too much, like let's do some teaching and a little less policing. But other than that, it's been a really well-received product. It's something that was sort of a missing layer for us a little bit. So wasn't gigantic cost, but it's been pretty well received. A few wrinkles here and there, but as a whole, it's been a nice product for us. So if anybody's in that market, Securely Classroom's been a nice hit thus far in this as we come to the end of the first 9 weeks here.
We were looking at that, but that was my worry that, because even their marketing piece, that their homepage has the teacher behind their computer with the
Yeah.
class out there. And I'm like, and that kind of turned me off to kind of investigating it further. But once again, you are the same teacher that would be behind the computer anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's settled in.
Kind of finding out.
It's settled into, like, it was
Okay.
like a new toy, if you will, at first, and now it's
Okay.
even, I think, used a little better. I got a couple people, they would be sort of, have that mindset kind of no matter what. But collectively,
Overall,
yeah, people really like it, and like, I said,
Okay.
it's sort of synced really seamlessly with Google Classroom. That's one of its main, like, ones, if you guys are Google Classroom users at all. They can go with other stuff too. I have to say, for us, we don't have a full LMS, so that was a nice place that served a lot of my needs, especially the middle schools. But teachers have really liked it, administrators have liked it, the teachers liked it, so
And
as
a
a
lot of teacher requests for something like that.
that was ours too. We did a pilot with it. We looked at a couple sort of on the back end, and then we piloted Securely Classroom.
We use ClassWise, which is similar to that.
Is it? Okay. There was another one. Now I just lost the name of it. It was more than double the price, like way more than, because we already had that relationship with Securely. I want to say it was like $4 a kid or something like that was the other one. It really honestly, Securely didn't do that much less at all. Maybe looked slightly, and maybe not as Mercedes-Benz as this one, like, you know what I mean? But it
Right.
Securely did everything we needed it to do.
Okay.
Line wise, that was the other
Line
one.
wise.
Was the other, we ran 2 live pilots last spring, just like had them out in the field and trying them and that sort of thing. When it came down to it, they really both did almost the exact same functions at a much different cost. So we liked it. So that was my share. Okay, cool. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. And that may even be something that, like you said, it's like just habit differences where instead of like being at my desk and I'm, watching everything, maybe I, carry my device around the room or, that kind of thing too. So I'm sure they'll settle in and be a little less big brother and be more, intentional with it too. And I think even like, I don't want to say the threat of having it, but like the kids knowing that that's a thing, I would hope would deter them from their chicanery also.
Yeah. Well, and in the end too, like they're gonna find a way to do some of the stuff they want to do. Like this is not like, bad stuff gets into prisons and they're built like strategically to keep everything out, right? So, and that's one of those things.
Yeah.
That's what we all know.
Teachers broadcast it to their projector or Clever Touch, whatever.
Oh, yeah, you can share your screen to all the kids' screens. You can share a kid's screen to the main, like to the projection. And they're really quite easy. Just big buttons sort of at the top. What you want to do is kind of like announce or like just lock screen. You're gonna hit it and you just sort of check mark it who it goes to. It's real. It's very user friendly. It really is.
Yeah.
Louisville is using Securely Classroom as well, and we love it.
Are you guys using it in any different grades compared to like 512?
A lot more in the high school. We have it all across, but it's just getting more popular at
Good.
the middle school and the elementaries. But it's harder for the elementaries because they're going from, like, a lot of them are pull out and going different places, and it's really hard to do class. But middle school, high school loves it.
Our price structure ended up, we bought it K-12, we pushed it 512. So we were sort of going to bring it down to 3-4 to toss it out there. But as a whole, that's much less of a problem for us just in general. So we didn't we're just going to kind of toss it out. If you want to deal, let them take a look at it. But we haven't been. But the price structure somehow it was better for us to just go K-12 so as a district that way than what we were trying to price point it differently. I forget exactly what it looked like, but it was just better to just have it. Cool.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, if this is something that you guys want to investigate further, like I can reach out to them to try and make them one of the, features next month, one of our, vendor visits. I'll make a note for that.
Like I said, we use ClassWise at Northwest, which is very similar, and we link to Google too. I don't know that it's something that's been really pushed out to our staff to use a ton, but I know a handful of teachers that use it pretty regularly, especially if they're like giving a test, just to make sure the kids aren't going off onto different sites or things like that. I am linked as the e-learning coordinator to all of our kids, and I proctor, like progress monitor, do all of their proctoring through the day, but I'm not physically in a room with them. So a lot of times will pull it up on my computer, even though they have an aide working in the room with them. If I see that they're online playing a game, I'll like close their game and send them an announcement like, get on your work or do whatever. And then I'll run up and touch base with them and be like, hey, David.
You go, oh man, I was on the last level.
Yeah.
But it is a nice feature, even like if you're not like necessarily a classroom teacher teaching, to be able to keep track of the kids who are a little more squirrely and tend to do things they're not supposed to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
All right, very good, very good. Anyone else have anything they want to show and tell? Anything fun that you've discovered in the last couple months? Can be about anything. Yeah, please. Please, no, not at all. I am talking a lot. You are not.
Edgenuity has the guided notes. I don't know how many people utilize those, but my kids were struggling because they don't have access to print the guided notes. And we didn't have a feature built into where they could type onto the guided notes to make them user-friendly for the kids. So I talked with my tech team. The thing that they came up with was DocHub to use, which you could use some of the typing tools, text tools, highlighting tools in the free version of that. But I didn't know if there was anyone that uses anything different.
How does it put it out as like a PDF?
It pulls the notes up as in a PDF form for the kids. So even though they're they're wonderful guided notes, but they're not something that our kids really were able to use. Because a lot of them are long, like lengthy, even for them to come ask me, like, will you print this off for me? Yes, which I have and would continue to do. But sometimes they're like 10 pages, 15 pages, because it's bigger, there's a lot of graphics and Venn diagrams and different things built into them. So I thought it would be more user-friendly for the kids if they could interact with it on their computer, save it, use it as a resource while they're doing things. So that was something that our tech team just recently came up with. I didn't know if there's a PDF writer that anyone else is familiar with that has a good free version, because my tech team doesn't wanna be putting out a ton of money for something that such a small group of our population would use.
Anyone else using anything?
Well, DocHub is what they came up with, if you are looking for a PDF writer that's free, or in the free version.
Say, I will actually jump in and share what I typically use, and then I just put that into our chat here too. So I really like Kami. I'm actually an ambassador for them as well, and if you use the code KamiApp/Hero Matthew, that'll get you the free teacher version. That's the only time I've ever, you listen to podcasts and people are like, oh, and you'll get, use the code free socks and you'll get a pair of free socks, whatever. I actually have a promo code and it's really cool. So, so if you go to kami.app/Hero Matthew, that will get you the teacher version for like 5 months for free. And so that's like the full blown, it's really, really good if you've never used it before, but it does exactly what you were just describing, Jill. So I'm going to pop it up here so that I can show you essentially what this allows you to do. And just give me a moment while I sign in here. What this allows you to do is to take something PDF Google Doc, whatever you want to. It could be something from your Google Drive, could be just something from your device, could be the notes that you're pulling off of, Edgenuity, and it allows you to manipulate and, work with it off to the side. So just for fun, I'm going to pull up this thingy because I can see it here. Let's pretend that this is a PDF. So like it could even be something like a teacher sends a piece of paper through the scanner, through the printer, and then, they email it to themselves. Now I got that PDF. You could pop those in here. And then you see all of the tools that are up and down the side. So if you wanted to, you could, put in those text boxes. You can even add like math equations if this was, math related. You can mark this thing up with all kinds of pens and highlighters and everything else that you could ever want. Pick your colors all in there, and it becomes those different highlights. You could do drawings and shapes and add images to these things. You can even, this is more for us as teachers, as administrators, but you can even add your signature on here too. So a lot of times people will be like, well, I can't easily add my digital signature through Kami. You can do that. So let's just play pretend like I wanted to put my signature on here. You tell it where you want to drop it, and wow, there's my signature on that spot. This is also like super inside, and I probably shouldn't be showing you this, but they're going to have a question feature on here too. This is in beta mode. So let's say that you have, that worksheet that you use forever and you love it, but it's just not digital. You want to actually like have the kids type their question in or type their answer in. You will be able to bake questions directly into your PDFs with Kami very soon. It's really, really fun. Just like I said, it's a really nice way to breathe new life into some of those things, your old standards. So Kami works with your Google Drive. So you could save this thing out if you wanted to. So like if you select download, you can have those annotations that you've just made. It basically like mashes those annotations on top of whatever it is that you're working with to produce that new item. You could save it to your computer, to your Google Drive, wherever it is that you want. These are also shareable. So like if I'm working on this and I want to share it with you to collaborate on that with me, we can do those things together too. So very similar to DocHub. I'm saying this because I'm biased, but like I really like Kami. I think it's a really good product. And so definitely something to check out.
Is there like you said, that would be a 5-week teacher version? Is there
5 months. 5 months.
5 months,
So basically
is there a
what
free, like kid version?
there is, so I'm sorry, I should have led with that.
No, that's okay.
The free version has most of these things on there. The things I don't think it has are this like read aloud feature. It won't have like the signature thing. It probably won't have the question at the moment because nobody has that. But like the basic tools for what you need. And yeah, so add your text boxes, type wherever, highlight, what you need. They are all in there for free. And then I know that they have, same thing we were talking like Clever to begin with, like it's all integrated in there. So definitely something to check out if you're interested, minus the cheesy plug promo code that I shouted out there too. So lots to really like there about Kami.
It says OCR too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it can.
It
Yep.
can? Okay, I thought that was one.
Yep, which is really slick. Okay, anyone else have any things that they want to share? Anything that's new, show and tell? If you'll notice, I've been putting these back on that district share space a little bit. I think it just makes it a little bit nicer to describe more about it.
I have a question,
Yeah, go ahead.
which wouldn't be this. I don't know. We've had some hit and miss issues with secure browsers, not the OST, but like just we have an EdSite one, we had created and we transitioned between the two. EdSite's our main assessment provider. I just didn't know if anybody had any free versions of lockdown browsers you're using and finding some success with for any sort of testing purposes. But we were hoping to not be putting money in towards it.
We use lockdown browser.
Yeah, but paid, well, maybe I should broaden it. Are you using paid
Yes.
versions? Okay, what, tell me about yours then.
Lockdown browser, it's,
That's the title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, but it does exactly that. You can send kids to the secure site. We use it through Schoology, but that's our LMS.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be through Schoology. It uses, they can use other platforms as well, but that's just how we have it. And the teachers are really happy with it. Not everyone uses it because everyone's just a little bit different, but we have it at our high school. I can probably look at some pricing.
Yeah.
It may, I'm trying to think, I think it's about $2,500
For the building license,
for the building license.
that's not bad.
No.
All right. Anybody else have any other been paid or unpaid ones you're using?
We have Go Guardian. It sounds similar to Securely, but you can, it's not specifically for that, but you can say, I only want kids to go to this website and nothing else, and then it locks them out of the whole internet except that one website. So that might work.
All right.
Matt, the company's actually called Respondus. They have a couple of different products on our browser. It's one of them.
It makes it actually say that, that makes sense.
I know we use something, but I can't think of what it's called.
Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna start looking a little bit more. What we had previously was actually basically an in-house one that we made. EdSite has grown for us and some of the compatibilities, basic stuff wasn't my IT guys can tell you I couldn't, but basically some of the features inside EdSite were not working appropriately inside this. EdSite made one, then it was pushing it out to their clients, but it's one of those, there's some holes in it, if you will, and the kids are good at finding those holes and then still getting out. Honestly, as a older now with trying to cheat test, we're just trying to get out of the lockdown browser while the test is on, so. All right, that's good. I appreciate that.
I appreciate your question. Anyone else have anything?
I don't know how much they're. Is that expensive?
All right, as we look to wrap up then, if you have future topics, if you have larger things that you want to discuss or add to the agenda, please let me know. If you have presenters or if you have vendors that you want to hear from, let me know those as well. I will take care of all of the invitations and whatnot and bringing those people in to talk to all of you. That's part of the benefit of these meetings and coming together is we're all sharing things, that work for us. And, I want to provide those opportunities to get those companies to work for us too. So definitely let me know on those future topics. If there is nothing else, then we will wrap it up today. Keep in mind, next meeting, I'll be asking the same thing about resources. So if you have something that you think could be beneficial to the group, bring it to that next meeting. I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, check out the website for all of our resources, including the notes for today. And then later this afternoon, you'll see that recording go up. But other than that, I'll be the last one out of the room here in person. So feel free to stay and hang out and have a snack and chat. For those of you online, we really appreciate you being here. We would love to see you in person if that works for you next time. And that meeting will be in January. So remember, we're taking the month of December off, and then we will come back in January, which sounds wild. Like it's November 1st. We have a long time before then, but yeah, other than that, really appreciate everybody being here, and I will see you all formally in January. We'll have another vendor meeting in December, but I will see you all formally here for one of these dad meetings here in January
2023.
2023. That's right. All right, see everybody.